Welcome to OnPoint, the only real and unscripted talk show that educates, motivates, and inspires. Featuring interesting topics on health, finances, real estate, education, technology, politics, legal issues, and more. Good morning, everyone. My name is Delroy Souden, and welcome to OnPoint, the talk show. It's the show that educates and inspire you to greater things, I hope. It's been a while since I've been here, but this morning I decided to come on live and in living color because I am observing everything that is happening in the news, and unfortunately, it seems as if many of us still think that a lot of what's happening is a joke. I've been reading the comments on social media, and a lot of people, unfortunately, do not seem to take what is happening very seriously. And that is so sad, to say the least. I don't know about you, but the more I see happening, the more I become concerned. The more I become a little bit scared. Not because I'm an immigrant who is also a United States citizen, but I am somewhat scared for where we are heading as a nation and even as a global community. There is serious concern that a lot of us should have, that obviously we don't seem to care less about anything that is happening, unfortunately. But I understand that there are certain things that were meant to be that we cannot change. And if you are a Bible believer, you will argue that, hey, these are the last days in which we are living. And I get it. But needless to say that there is still a level of concern that we all should have. I don't care how holy and righteous you are. You need to be concerned about what you're seeing happening. And I'm reading some headlines. Justice Kennedy may soon find himself disappointed and his legacy undermined. Now, it is being reported that Justice Kennedy was bought off rather, and must be investigated. I don't know about any of this, and I'm not even going to go into it in details. Next in the news is that Puerto Rico introduces bill to become the 51st U.S. state in 2021, and I am asking the question, why? Why? After you've been treated like crap, why would you want to become the 51st state? What benefits did you receive so far that you would want to sink yourself deeper into this current administration's mess? It boggles me because the thing with people, not all of us, some of us, is that we listen to all of the rhetorics, we listen to all the political mumble jumble that they're feeding us, and without research, without any level of thoughtfulness, we tend to believe everything that we've been fed. Some of us, not all of us, because a lot of us are much wiser than that. Unfortunately, it seems as if some of us do not exercise the brain power that we've been given, so we listen to anything that they feed us, and we buy into any crap that they make us want to believe. That in and of itself is very dangerous. We cannot allow ourselves to be manipulated and believe everything that we've been fed, because that's a dangerous sign. And if you do that, you can be easily manipulated and be on the wrong side of everything that is happening. So it is so important that you not just follow the news, but research every story that they have been broadcasting, and get yourself as educated as possible about the subject matter at hand, so that you can make an informed decision going forward, and know what you're doing. Know what you're doing. Once again, I am concerned that a lot of us aren't taking a lot of these things seriously. And should we be forced to make certain decision as it has to do with our life and our well-being, a lot of us do not even have an exit strategy in place. I think with what we are seeing and with what is happening, we all need to start thinking about an exit strategy if it should come to that. We have to, for those of you who have children, you have to start thinking about the well-being of your children, your family, and start to put things in place that will ensure some level of security for your family members, your children particularly. They are the future. And I don't know what the future is going to look like by the time they grow up. I really don't know what the future is going to look like. It's a scary thing to think about, and I don't know why anyone would want to bring children in this world, in this day and age that we're living in. I'm just saying, I'm not suggesting by any means that you shouldn't have your children, but you should think about their future, man. Think seriously about their future before you bring them into this world, because right now it's not looking good, and I can only see it getting worse. And it's scary for some. It's a little scary for me, but at least I know that this was coming. A lot of us who are Christians, we've been being told for many decades, probably centuries, that things are going to get worse, and don't think they will ever get better. They probably will improve a little, but they will not get better. It's downhill from here. There are certain laws that do not seem to be standing anymore. There are certain rules that do not seem to apply anymore. Checks and balances do not seem to be working. And that is very, very scary. The courts are taking certain sides that they once would not take. We should be concerned on all levels and know that this administration is changing a lot of things at their liberty, and it appears as if everyone else is silent. We're in a world where money rules and nothing else matters, quite frankly. Evil men are seeking to destroy us left, right, and center, and the way in which they're doing it is through financial gains. The more money they get, the more money they want, while there are people out there struggling, seriously struggling to pay their bills on a daily basis. And I include myself in that. But we have to really take this thing very, very seriously. And it begins with your mental state. If you have a weak mental happening right now, weak mental capacity right now, it can really get you in a depressive state. And for some of you, a lot of you avoid watching the news. I would like to do likewise, but realizing that I am a part of the American society and the global community, I cannot just tune out the news and rely on hearsay. I want to see in real time or hear in real time what is happening so I can be informed. And in as much as I do not like some of what I hear, I have to listen because, once again, I want to stay informed. Okay? But it's time that we have an exit strategy. It's time that we have a plan in place should things get awfully worse. We need to have a plan in place. Know what you're going to do tomorrow. Know what you're going to do next week, next month, next year. Know what you're going to do right now should something suddenly go down. Nothing is guaranteed anymore. Absolutely nothing is guaranteed. So, having said that, it is so important that we have a plan in place. I have this line in my forehead and it's driving me crazy because I frown at night apparently, and it just there, sitting there, wake up in the morning and it's like deep lines because apparently I sleep like this. Wish I could, but hey, it's not about me right now. Back to what I was saying. We have to once again, this goes back to not coming together as a community, and I'm specifically referring to my black brothers and sisters out there who think that because you're from Africa, because you're from Canada or elsewhere, you cannot come together as a community because you're hated on, and have often been told to go back to your own country. Guess what? Wherever in the world you go, you're a part, or you should be a part of this world. We are a global community. And people who do not get an opportunity to travel only see a narrow view of the world. You see? So having been in this country, I have seen and heard a lot of stuff that quite frankly make me view this country differently and even the world differently, you see? And even keeping track on stuff that's happening in my homeland of Jamaica, a lot of it is concerning, you see? So being a person that reads a lot and want to stay informed, I am looking from things at all levels, not just what's happening here in America. I'm also looking at things that are happening in Jamaica, what's happening in Nigeria, what's happening in South Africa, because everything that happens seems to have a domino effect one way or another. So we need to take note of that and be aware that because you're in the United States, you're not immune from what's happening in another country. We're not immune because somehow there is a force that is working in unison to unstabilize countries across the board around the world, because at the end of the day, there is one set agenda that they are trying desperately to fulfill. And that starts with the destabilization of governments around the world. And if you think that racism only happens in the United States, there's a rude awakening. It's happening all over the world. The same immigration issues that is being talked about here in the U.S. is also being talked about in Belgium and other places, and in part, this is because of the terroristic acts that have taken place in the country of Belgium over the last few years, and other countries as well. Great Britain. Everybody is now getting on the backs of immigrants, and they're painting a very broad. They're stroking with a very very widely. They're pretty much putting all immigrants in one basket. It doesn't care if you're a good immigrant or a bad immigrant. The fact is that you are an immigrant, and as such, you are looked upon as being the enemy of the nation, the enemy of the state, the enemy of whatever country you decide to settle in. Is it right? No. But countries must put in place ways in which to avoid violence or violent people being brought into their countries. And another thing that I totally disagree with, and let me say that right now, is that all immigrants are not bad. Just like all people who live in this country are not bad. People who are native to this country are not bad. But you cannot call everyone murderers and rapists and whatever and put everyone in just one basket and label everyone with one label across the board. That in itself is a bad idea. And this is what is playing out now. The terrorist happenings in this country are not from immigrants, mainly, as we all can see. We're seeing it every day. A lot of people are getting slaughtered and murdered. Children in schools are getting slaughtered. And these are not from immigrants. Immigrants are not the ones who are carrying out these acts. So right there, we need to get with it and realize that a lot of the rhetorics and a lot of this nonsense that we're talking about needs to be redirected to the right source, the people who are actually doing these things. A lot of people are not for gun control. There needs to be gun control. There need to be background checks and all of that stuff done the right way. But somehow there's a force behind everything that is that do not want to see these things take place. You know it. I know it. We all know it. But the fact of the matter is that we have to get to a point where we all have an exit strategy. We need to put a plan in place, come together as a community, and decide what you're going to do should things get really, really bad. A lot of us do not know what we're going to do. A lot of you are living from paycheck to paycheck. So right there, if something goes wrong with your job, you don't know how you're going to survive. Government may not always be there for you. Your pension may not always be there. This is reality, okay? Your 401k may not always be there. Unemployment may not always be there. Social Security is going to be running out in a few years if they don't do something about that. So these are all stuff that you need to be thinking about right now and putting an alternate plan in place to ensure your financial well-being, your personal well-being, and even your emotional well-being going forward. We cannot just think that everything is a joke. I'm looking at social media and everybody always have something funny to say when a certain story breaks and stuff like that. You can call the president an a-hole or telling him to F-O all you want, that's not changing anything that he is determined to do. So you have to have your plan in place. What are you going to do should things go down? Seriously. And the phone line is open. You guys can feel free to call, chime in on any subject matter that you may have on your mind right now. It doesn't matter. You can call in. The number is right there. I'm willing to hear people talk about, stuff, whether it's something that you've seen, something that you're going through. It's all about us coming together and communicating, or share your opinion, your thoughts, your views. You don't have to share your name. I'm not interested in your name, but we just need to start talking and communicating and have a plan in place, man. Because if you think that because you were born in this country and because you're a citizen of the United States of America, that you are not affected by stuff that are happening, believe me, you are affected, whether directly or indirectly. So you can think that everything is an immigration problem or an immigrant problem all you want. If for any reason anyone wants us out of this country, they can get us out. You're seeing that laws are not being abided by. You're seeing that checks and balances are not working as they should. You're seeing a lot of things change before your eyes. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you, honestly? So all I'm asking is that we as black people need to come together. I live in Newark, New Jersey, and every single day there is a 7-Elevens going up. There's a Quick Check going up in certain neighborhoods. There are gas stations. Everything is going up, and none of them is owned by any one of us black folks. That's sad. That is sad. And in part, it's because a lot of us can't get a loan. And a lot of us do not. And if you're trying to do stuff by yourself, hey, it's not going to happen. In a lot of cases, it's not happening. You have to align yourself with the right people and make some stuff happen. You see? No man is an island. No man stand alone. It takes a village. We hear all of that all the time, and yet we are still stuck right where we are. That has to change. We do not support each other. We do not work well with each other. If I am progressing, you stand behind me and you drag me right down. If you are progressing, I stand behind you and I drag you right down. The crabs in a barrel mentality has got to stop. It has got to stop. People have been saying these things forever, and still nothing is changing. Absolutely nothing is changing. So if we learn anything from all of what is going on right now, is that we have to open our eyes wide, open our minds wide, and even open your heart and really see where we're heading, and try to put your plan in place, man. Put your plan in place. It's not looking pretty. Good morning, Shanika. Good morning, Maria. Thank you guys for joining the conversation. But I am not a political minded guy, but when I see stuff that could quite possibly affect me, I have to talk about it. In all honesty, I have to talk about it and make some of us realize that, you know what, the life that you're living right now, whether it's great or whether it's bad, it can all be changed to worst in a twinkling of an eye. it can all be changed. Okay? So don't get too comfortable in your own space that you're blinded by what's happening around you, what's happening in your neighborhood, what's happening in your community, what's happening to your schools, what's happening to your churches, what's happening in the halls of government. It can all change. I am never too comfortable where I'm at because I'm fully aware that in the blink of an eye, it can all flip on its head. You see? And anyone who is not aware of that, you are blinded. You are distracted. And of course, a lot of what we see in the media is just serves as a distraction to us. But you have to be able to see through all of that blur and learn to see things clearly. Learn to see things from a different perspective. Learn to analyze. Learn to criticize. Learn to say no to the wrong things, and learn to uphold and uplift the right things. Because in the end, in the final end, good will prevail over evil. I believe that wholeheartedly. Through history, the majority has never been right. It takes a small minority to bring forth real change and make a difference. And we all have that power within us to make change and to make a difference. We see some strides huge strides made with the Me Too movement. We've seen some strides made with the Black Lives Matter movement. We've seen strides made from other organizations around the world. Imagine how much more powerful we all can become if we all just bond together, pull all of these organizations together, and really have a stronger voice, a stronger force of people rising up against injustice, rising up against things that are just not right. Once again, if you believe that they have our best interests at heart, doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, you are so wrong. You're wrong. You see, the last time I checked my account, there's not much in it. The last time I went to sleep at night, and I sometimes just think about the next day. I should be able to go to sleep and think about nothing, go to bed with a clear mind. But I find myself thinking about what is going to happen tomorrow. What's the next news headline is going to be, and how it's going to affect me as an individual, how it's going to affect us as a country, how it's going to affect us as a global scale. You see, I've been doing some research on the most politically stable countries around the world. And I'm interested in that because I'm putting my exit strategy in place. And we all should have an exit strategy if it ever comes down to that. Not so much out of fear, but for your own protection and the protection of your friends and your family. We all should be thinking, what if? Because what if have a very strong possibility of becoming reality. And I said it earlier that checks and balances do not seem to be working like they should. We are seeing it every single day. The judicial system doesn't seem to be doing what it's supposed to do, or there's a certain level of oversight that is taking place on all levels. People seem to be allowed to do whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do, or whenever they feel like doing it. And as such, we all need to be concerned. Good morning, Brother Don. How are you? Good morning, Siebert. What's up, Siebert? How you doing, man? Alicia. Good morning, Steve. How are you, man? It's been a long time I haven't spoken or seen a lot of you guys, but you have to be concerned. You cannot live in your own little bubble and think that because the main subject matter is on immigrants, that you're not affected one way or another. What is being done to immigrants could be done to us at any point in time. You see, the military can sweep in on us at any point in time. Seriously. Your homes that you are so comfortable in can be seized at any moment for whatever reason, even when they feel like it. And it's just reality. It's just the climate in which we are in right now. You can be bumped off for speaking out at any point in time. That is what we are coming to. So things that we opposed for many, many years have now become a part of the American society. Things that we used to reject from other countries are now being practiced right here at home. We're pulling out of organizations that were set up to protect certain rights of individuals, because we are heading down the road where our leaders is being emboldened to do whatever. Our leaders are being emboldened to do whatever they feel like doing, whenever they feel like doing it, even when someone says something that they disagree with. That is what we are coming to as a society. And if you're not seeing that, something is seriously wrong with you. Something is definitely wrong with you. Good morning, Alicia. How are you? Good morning, Tyrone. Good morning. How are you doing? You know, so I'm talking politics, but if you guys have something lighter you want to talk about, give me a call. We can talk about it. You can talk about the beautiful weather where you are, even though we are getting towards a heat wave right now in, not quite a heat wave, but the temperature is getting very, very hot over here. And, you know, a lot of people are concerned. But my main concern is for the elderly. A lot of them are living in situations where they're living in government houses, and these houses and apartments are not properly maintained by the system, and a lot of people are without proper AC. A lot of people are without elevators and stuff that they need to get back and forth. And that is my main concern at this particular moment. The elderly, the disabled, people who cannot move or go back and forth because of some disability or because of their age. Ooh, Jesus. We have to take care of the elderly in our community. I think I'm getting a call. Let me make sure. Hello, good morning.
Keep up the good work, Dylan. Yep.
Good morning. Can you say that again?
Brother Don.
Hey, Brother Don. How are you, Brother Don? Oh, my goodness.
Good job. It's hard to keep up with you, man.
Brother Don, let me tell you, man, a lot is happening. A lot is happening in my life. And I'm just trying to navigate everything that is happening. Nowadays, I find myself hardly have time for myself. But I'm trying to make time and trying to, just remain a positive voice and a positive force in whatever ways that I can, man. Because a lot of stuff are happening that should be concerning to all of us. If you're a human being with blood running through your veins, we need to be concerned about not just politics, but life itself, man. And those are the things that I am most concerned about now over everything else, about the future generation and what the future is going to look like for those who are growing up. So that's my main concern now. How have you been, Brother Don?
Well, I haven't been so good, but I'm still hanging on. I had a blood transfusion Tuesday.
Oh, my
Thursday.
goodness. Oh, really?
Yeah, some of it's because I'm not eating properly. You're aware of my cancerous conditions, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, well, it seems as if from I don't have much of an appetite, but I'm up and going. But they said I was anemic,
Oh,
and
man.
I needed 2 units of blood. I got that Thursday, and but other than that, I got up this morning, moved around, so I'm doing all right.
Well, you sounding very strong as always. So God is sustaining, man. I'm happy that you're doing okay now. And for those of us who don't know, Brother Don, I label Brother Don the king of traditional gospel music. He hosted a show on my online station for quite a number of years. It's probably over 10 years, right, Brother Don?
I think it was over 10 years.
Yeah, over 10 years, Brother Don was on N Sound Radio, and then we changed to Caribbean Gospel Surf. He was on, and also 103 Energy. So Brother Don was a stable on my online station with this show, as the Sounds of Faith.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, I'm still hanging around, still doing something.
awesome. By the way, Brother Don, man, let me tell you, I respect Brother Don wholeheartedly. He's always supported what I was doing. Even when I was struggling to pay for my stream, Brother Don would send me a check, whatever he could, and help, because he recognized the importance of having this voice out there. So, Brother Don, I will never forget you, and I will never forget the things that you've done for us. And I still have those CDs that I need to pack up. But you know what has been holding me back, Brother Don?
What's that?
I have so many CDs. Let me tell you, I have boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of CDs, and it's just getting the time to sit down and to go through them and to just pack them up and send them to you. And I should be doing a little each day, right?
I can understand that, and I want to give you credit. You were the first to give me an opportunity to be on the World Wide Web.
Thank you, man. And it's funny thing. I have to share this with the listeners. When Brother Don first came on our show, Brother Don was sending me his shows on cassette tapes. Is it cassette tapes, right, Brother Don? Yeah.
Cassette. Yeah.
You started out sending cassette tapes. Then you converted to CDs. And before you know it, Brother Don was recording his show and uploading it and sending it over by MP3. And let me tell you, Brother Don is not a 23-year-old man, but he has taught himself to keep up with the technological changes as it relates to getting his program heard and doing what he needed to do to make sure that he went from cassette to CDs to MP3s. How many people at his age would be so willing to learn the technology they need to have their voice being on the air consistently. You see, Brother Don learned all of that and he did it. How old are you, Brother Don, if you care to share?
I don't care. I'm glad to share. I'll be 79 next month.
See, 79 years old, and he taught himself all of those things. So, you know, Brother Don, you just don't know it, but you were one of the forces that caused me to go back to school too, you know, because I watch people who are much older than I am, and I see these things online a lot of times, and I see people doing stuff, people who are up there in age, and I often question myself, what's holding me back from doing what these people are doing? And I'm far younger than a lot of these people. So you are one of my inspiration. I've always been one of my inspirations since the day that we met. And you know, I hold you up in prayers a lot. I thought about you a lot. I haven't called a lot, but believe me, you know, I've been thinking about you a lot. And I know you've been going through some health challenges, and you know, the Lord is holding on and sustaining you, and for that I am grateful. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. And I'm just so grateful that you called me this morning. You make my day. You really make my day.
Well, I'm so grateful to have you in my life. You have given me exposure that other people wouldn't have given me, you know.
Thank you, Brother Don. Thank you.
And you move around so fast, I can't keep up with you on the web.
You know what, Brother Don? A lot of people think that I have some money, you know, but I really don't. I don't. Even you know it, Brother Don. Even the days when I was doing N Sound Music Awards and N Sound Radio, it was always a struggle. You know, people have a way of seeing what they want to see, but they don't know the reality behind a lot of stuff that I was doing. You know, a lot of what I was doing at the time was to prevent me from being depressed. I get involved in radio and music and everything that I was doing as a coping mechanism. I was very depressed for many, many years. For over 30 years, I was not only depressed, but I was suicidal. And I think I've shared that before. You see, because I've had some stuff happen in my life that really derailed me as an individual. You see what I'm saying? I went from being an A student to an F student all in the matter of hours. And I could not find the strength and what it takes to get back to that place where I was happy with myself, where I could live my life to the fullest. There was so much happening in my life, and a lot of people wasn't aware of it. I was doing a lot of stuff, but it was just for me to cope with life, with living, to prevent myself from killing myself. From the N Sound Music Awards to N Sound Radio, all of this, I had to find my own voice, and I found my voice through radio. I found my voice by doing the award show. I found my voice by listening to music constantly, because there was nobody that I could talk to, or very few people that I could talk to who would understand and you know, tell me, you know, brother, it's gonna be okay, you know. So I had to challenge myself, and after years of battling with depression and suicidal thoughts, finally in 2010, I had to close that chapter of my life in order for me to move forward with the rest of my life. So I didn't finish high school. I was doing everything that, you know, people think was a big deal without a high school diploma. I worked in corporate America without a high school diploma. I functioned quite well because I really wasn't a dumb person. And I functioned without a high school diploma. It was in 2010 after I closed that terrible chapter of my life, that I was able to go and get a high school diploma, enrolled in college 3 years later because I was still scared of going to school because I was in my 40s, late 40s back then. I was scared. And finally, in 2013, I enrolled in school, graduated with the bachelor's in 2015 and the master's in 2016. I literally worked hard and struggled to pick up the residue of my life and put them back together to get to that place. It wasn't easy. It really wasn't easy. And there were times where I pushed away a lot of people without even realizing it, you see? And no one quite understand what I was going through at the time. Nobody knew what I was going through because I never opened up to anybody, you see? But that's the reality of my life. And I can talk about it freely now without shame or, without anything, and with the hopes that someone out there can pick up the remaining pieces of their lives and move forward, because life have a way of throwing us things that if you're not strong enough, or if you don't have a sense of godliness, you can end up hurting yourself seriously. So I've always looked upon you, Brother Don, as being one of my inspirations, because I've watched you done your show with such grace and excitement, and just making people happy, and when I grow up, I want to be like you.
Well, Daryl, I say this: I want to thank God for letting me be a part of your life, and I would not have been able to do what I did with you, which I'm trying to figure. I believe we've been knowing each other for about 15 years, I believe.
Yes, I think you started in, if my memory serves me correctly, it probably was about 2000 and... Was it about 2000 that you started with me first?
I think it was.
It was a long time. It has been a long time.
Yeah, those were trying times, and then you introduced me to Sean over at Gospel Impact Radio.
Yes, and you're still on Gospel Impact Radio, right?
Yeah, fortunate enough or unfortunate enough, I've got about 5 outlets.
Oh,
run
my
most on
goodness.
Sunday. But thanks to you.
That's a blessing, man. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. The sounds of... By the way, you're coming back to my station. You know that, right?
No, I didn't. When I'm coming back?
You're coming back. As soon as I finish putting all this playlist together. I've been working on getting 103 Energy back in place.
Oh.
And, I have a new broadcast software that I've been toiling over, trying to learn it very well, because it's a little more technical. It's a free software, very good software, but it requires a lot of brain power to operate. And I'm determined to learn it inside and out. I still have a lot of your show archives. Archived. So what I would suggest you do is keep sending me stuff. I no longer use Dropbox. So I'm going to send you a link where you can upload, your new stuff going forward. But I'm working on launching by, I would say, by the end of next month. The station is up and running now. But as far as, properly programming it and, have to deal with the copyright issues and all of that, make sure that everything is in place before I do the grand official launch.
Yeah, you're making my day, or made my day. I'm excited already. You keep doing what you're doing, and remember now that God is in charge. And Willie Banks sung a song before he passed away that says, "Lord, help me understand the things I can't change, and everything will be all right."
Yes, sir. I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. And, you were the first You were the first syndicated program on my station back in the day. In fact, I believe I gave you the first opportunity to be heard outside of your local area. So that is always a special. And let me tell you guys about Brother Don. Every conversation we've ever held over the years, Brother Don has always expressed his gratitude for the opportunity that he was granted to be heard throughout the world on my station. There's never been a conversation where Brother Don did not express his gratitude. And over the years, I have been instrumental in a lot of people's careers, and they have never even say thank you, my brother. So, Brother Don, you hold a very special place in my heart. And I'm not gonna go into the people's careers that we've been instrumental in helping, but we've done a lot. We've done a lot over the last 15 years. On the station and through the medium of the internet. And the thing with me is that there are a lot of times I need help and I don't ask for help, because I know how people's mindset are. Whenever some folks think that you're doing better than themselves, they tend not to support. It's just the nature of the beast. And as such, if I have to stop doing what I have been doing for the lack of funds or whatever, I will do it. There's no shame in my game. I will shut it down and start all over again. And I've done that many times, because I know that there are very few people who are willing to help. There are very few people who have your best interests at heart. And Brother Don, without a doubt, I know that you're one of the people who have always supported, not just financially, but otherwise. You've always encouraged me. Even when you didn't know that I was at my lowest points at time, you always, without a doubt, always encourage and support, and even donated financially to what I was doing, because you believe in what I was doing so much. You see?
I still believe in it. Now, this
And I know you do.
is
I
it
know you do.
day or what?
I know you do.
The one
Brother
that
Don.
on point, the talk show, is that weekly or
On
what?
I am trying to make it a weekly. It would be nice to have it as a daily situation, but I'm still trying to figure out life. There's still a lot that I'm working on. Of course, I have to maintain where I'm living at and stuff like that. So it's been a challenge doing it. And I volunteered at WFDU twice a week, and just my personal life, just trying to sort out everything. I don't have a 9 to 5. Let me stress that I do not have a 9 to 5. I'm trying to just do what I love to do, and make it happen the best possible way I can. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to let you get back to your regular programming, and I look forward to hearing from you. And again, thank you, and thank the Lord for letting me be a part.
Thank you, Brother Don, and I truly love and adore you. You supported everything I do. My very first Sound Music Awards, not only were you there, but your beautiful wife was there with you. You flew all the way from Florida to Newark, New Jersey, to attend the very first Sound Music Awards ceremony. And that means so much to me. The fact that not only were you on my radio station, but you flew your wife and yourself to support what I was doing, speak a lot of volume. And I know if I should decide to do something else, which I am doing, you're still supporting.
That's
You
one
are
thing I
still
like to hear
supporting.
about. The wife has allowed me to do whatever I'm doing. You get what
Awesome.
A
Awesome.
lot of wives don't let you do it, but you probably won't hear her say anything. And if you were to call and ask about my program, she would just politely tell you have to check with him.
Uh,
I think that's so nice. Some wives will just tell everything, and I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just saying she's very supportive of what I do.
That's awesome. That's great to know. That's great to know. So, Brother Don, start sending. I will send you a link where you can upload your show. So, just even if it's an older show, just start sending them out because I have a huge archive of some of the stuff that you've done in the past, and we just want to continue to build on it and keep going. So by the end of July, I should figure out the software and ready to because this time around I'm going to market and promote even beyond social media. So it's coming. My whole matter is that it's not over till God says it's over. As long as there's life in my body, I'm going to do something positive.
Well, I appreciate you, Delroy, and thanks again, and have a good day, okay?
Thank you, Brother Dan, and say hello to your wife for me, okay?
I sure will.
You make my day.
All right.
God
Bye-bye.
bless. Take care. All right. So, Brother Don, Tallahassee, Florida, representing, and oh my goodness, there's so much I could say about this gentleman, but you've heard most of it, or at least some of it. We just didn't scratch the surface. Good morning, Andrea, Shelva. Good morning. How you guys doing, man? If you guys just want to talk, call me. The number is right there. I don't need to repeat the number. It's right there. You're looking at the number. Call me now. Brother Don just made my day. Certainly made my day. But once again, going back to what I was saying initially, we all need to have a plan. And we need, for the sake of your children and future grandchildren, great grandchildren, we need to have a plan going forward. Should that plan become necessary for us to execute? All right. I don't know what else to talk about. I think I've talked about everything that was on my mind this morning so far, and. Call me. If you guys want to talk about the beautiful weather in your neighborhood, call. Let's talk. Andrea, what's up? Good to see you here. Good to see everyone checking me out, and I appreciate you guys so much. I am going to end right now, by the way. Next time you see me, feel free to call, just like Brother Don just did. It make my day. Makes me know that somebody out there is listening, and that's all I want people to do. Just listen and be educated about stuff that is up. Be knowledgeable. Pay attention. Open up your eyes and look and see what is happening, what is about to happen, and just be fully alert and aware, because at the end of the day, Jesus, it's hard for me to think about, what may quite possibly go down in this country, but we all need to wise up. I'm going to leave you with this, guys. Remember to love, live, and enjoy life. Love on each other regardless of race, color, or political persuasion. Live your life to the fullest. I love you all. I don't care if you are black, white, yellow, pink, whatever. I love each and every one of you equally. And unfortunately, and I say unfortunate, it's unfortunate that a lot of us have to somewhat deal with matters from a racial standpoint because the odds are so stacked up against us. But I am here to tell you and to assure you that in my entire being, there is not a racist bone in my body. And I know that. I know that wholeheartedly. It so happened that in this society in which we live, race is an issue, race is a factor, and we have to address it. And because I am fully aware of my blackness, I am going to talk about it. But there is not a racist bone in my body. There is not a prejudice bone in my body as far as people's complexion and skin color and educational makeup, whatever is concerned. There isn't. But because I am black, I have to talk about stuff that affect me as a black man. So rest assured and feel free to call in. I don't care if you're pink, yellow, purple, black, white, whatever. If something is bugging you, let's talk about it. That's what this show is all about. Okay? God bless you. Follow us on Facebook, OnPoint the Talk Show. The Twitter handle is there. Follow us as well. And, I'll see you guys next time. Have yourself a blessed day. I'm not even sure how long I've been here so far, but it has been a while. And I'm going to check out right now. God bless you. Take care. Continue to love. Continue to live, love, and enjoy life. Peace.